Loving brother, I hope these lines will find you and yours and all our friends in the country well, as blessed be God I am, and all my family so long as God pleaseth. For we have a very crazy, sickly time at London since June came in, and all are very fearful it will grow worse every week while summer weather continues. The plague increaseth much, and spreads itself very strangely in the city and suburbs. 17 died one week, 43 next, and last week 112 of the plague. It is much feared this week's bill will far exceed the last. It comes not out till Thursday morning.
John Moore was right to suspect that the deaths from plague in London would continue to rise. The week of his letter, the death toll reached 168, and the following week 267. What he couldn't have predicted, however, was how sharply and terribly the death toll would rise over the course of summer and autumn of 1665. Within 10 weeks of his letter, over 6,500 people would die in London in a single week, and by the time the Great Plague had run its course, the bills would report that nearly 70,000 people had succumbed to it. Historians estimate that the actual death figures were likely even higher. The weekly bills John Moore used to track the plague's progress were part of a system unique to London in the 1600s. Known as the Bills of Mortality, these broadsides had developed over the course of the century to help keep Londoners informed about the spread of disease in the city, and in particular, plague. The City of London was split into over 100 different parishes, each of which was responsible for keeping track of all the births, marriages, and deaths within its area. When someone died in the parish, family and friends would notify the local church, which would toll the church bell to commemorate the dead person. The bell would alert the local searchers, usually elderly women employed by the parish, to locate the deceased parishioner and to declare the cause of death. The searchers were not formally trained in medicine, but their life experience was respected as an important form of medical knowledge. To declare the cause of death, the searchers would consult with the family, friends, and, if relevant, the doctors who had been with the deceased in his final days. They would also examine the body and use all this information to make an informed decision about the cause of death. The searcher's decision would be relayed back to the parish clerk, who kept a record of important events in the parish. Each week the total births, marriages, and deaths would be collected in each parish and sent to the Central Company of Parish Clerks. They would then compile all this information and issue a city-wide bill for sale every Thursday morning. During plague times, these bills were in great demand. In a world without regular newspapers, the bills were the only regular, reliable means of finding out whether the plague was worsening or improving. In 1665, as the death toll continued to rise, many well-off people used the bills to decide when to leave the city. The less fortunate, however, were forced to stay in London and to pray that either their faith or their physical constitution would protect them from one of the worst epidemics the city had ever known.